Here is one of the 4 Father Fish style tanks I currently have running. This is a 10-gallon tank with anacris, leopard valve. There's a couple of swords in there, but mainly those. There is a heater. I run at 79 degrees, even though that ram, they say, requires more. I've tested him from 74 to 84 with virtually no difference. Substrate is something that I pulled out of a local creek, which is just sticks, dirt, mud, leaves. And within it right now you can see a black coolie loach. Obviously none of that stuff is harmful. He does that all day. He still has all his whiskers, as well as the clown pleco. They live in that stuff. They do real well. Harlequin rasboras, cherry, neons. Let's see if we can get a close-up of his face. So as you can see, it's mainly, I'd say, like a heavy silt consistency, where it gets kicked up but it typically falls right back down. He still has all of his little whisker mouth parts, so if that was a harmful bacteria that typically, as you can see right there, typically that would be eroded off from the bacteria, which this obviously does not have. He just lives. Clown pleco, doing real good with his Pac-Man eyes. Cherry barb, snail, and what have you. Just a very easy to keep tank. 79 degrees, a sponge filter, pothos on the top, 2 small LED lights. They're roughly 1,200 lumens total, if that. And it just works. Just like if you went out into nature. He's just chowing down. Yeah. Probably more plants than I need, but every time I test the water, it's 0 nitrite, 0 ammonia, and I've never seen more than 10 parts per million of nitrates. And the only filtration I have in there is that sponge filter in the back. That's it. It just works. I have two medium sets of schooling fish, and I was thinking about increasing my barb to have a 3rd school. So I would have a school of cherry bobs, a school of Harlequin rasboras, and a school of neon tetras. But being a 10-gallon tank, things would get crowded pretty quick, and I don't think that's such a great idea. It would probably work, but in my heart of hearts, I don't think that's a good idea to cram it that much. I really don't want to do a science experiment with their lives. So got kicked up a little bit by the clown pleco, who just took off. And of course, the gold ram swam right to that silt and sediment. So I've never seen them have a negative reaction when they're exposed to that stuff. And I never clean this tank. I only add water when it evaporates, which won't be for probably another month. This female barb right there is showing a big full belly. Maybe she'll lay some eggs, but that clown pleco will probably just eat them. I feed this tank 2 to 3 times a week, if that, usually 2, and that seems to be sufficient. The only real death I've had in here was the other ram, who I tried to get a male and a female, and this one ends up chasing the other one around anytime it would come out from the corner, and it basically did that for about 2 months, when I found it dead in the bottom of the tank one morning. With all these plants, you'd think there would be enough place to hide, but being only 10 gallons, he can find them pretty easy. So that's kind of a shame. I wish that didn't happen, but there's not a whole lot I could have done about it. You can't really break them up. You can't break up a fish fight like you can a dog fight. I've tried. They just keep doing it. But anyway, that's how it is. It is very snails. Just come with the territory. But yeah, give it a shot. It works. Just remember, the key is fast-growing stem plants. Vallisneria, I use leopard. The standard vals doesn't really work that great in my water. There's one right there I'm trying to save. It just doesn't seem to take off like the leopard val explodes. And of course the anacris is just, it's just like a weed. 2 inches of sand, just the basics, and there it is.